Welcome to Insomnia Month. I'm chatting with Hannah Charman. Hannah, tell us what you do.
Hello. So I am a natural menopause specialist, which means I basically look after ladies who either can't take HRT for whatever reason or don't want to take HRT mostly. And I help them get back on top of their symptoms using a combination of prescribed herbal medicines, health coaching, and if we need it, hypnotherapy as well.
Love it. So this month we're talking about insomnia.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you see endless women come through your clinic who are really struggling with this.
Yeah, it tends to be one of the earlier symptoms. And I've had it myself. I've never been a great sleeper, so I'm quite an experienced insomniac, but now I'm 47, I get the menopausal version, and it's not like any other kind of insomnia. It's not, quite often the usual tricks that we use to help with sleep don't touch it.
No.
Um, and it's not that you're lying there stressed. You've got nothing really to be stressed about. There's no anxiety. You're not uncomfortable. It's just you can't sleep. And it's
Yeah.
really debilitating because obviously it impacts everything. It impacts your performance and your energy levels and your mental health and relationships and everything. And it's something we need to be looking at how to manage in different ways.
Yeah, it was one of my early symptoms. As you say, I've never read so many books.
No.
Between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. every night. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah, my friend does that. She works until quite late. She is very stressed, but she's also the same age as me, so it's probably a bit of both. But she works until late, goes to bed about 11, wakes up about 3, and she really likes it actually because she's like, that's my only me time, sitting downstairs on the sofa watching a film. She's like, I absolutely love it. I was like, well, maybe you do, but you might pay the price for that later in life.
Your body might not love this quite so
Yeah,
much.
exactly. Yeah.
So, I mean, in some of the other Insomnia Month videos, we've kind of talked about the sleep hygiene and the sort of the standard stuff. But as you've already said, this isn't
It doesn't
necessarily
always
standard
work.
insomnia.
You still need to do it, I think, because sometimes it does work. Sometimes I can go out for a big walk or have a swim and I will sleep beautifully that night, whereas I won't if I've done no exercise. So it can work. And there are so many other health benefits from doing those things, from getting your diet right, from making sure you're exercising, etc., that you need to do it regardless. But those things don't always work all of the time.
No.
Meditation I do find quite helpful. That can be quite good, last thing at night when you're in bed ready to go to sleep. Meditation can be really quite good. But otherwise it's kind of potluck. Really you have to experiment and see what works.
So, I mean, from your point of view, when you're looking at like the herbal medicine side of things, presumably insomnia is something that you treat as part of a bigger picture with your patients.
Yeah, so I use a main herbal mix that my patients take during the day to do all the background work, calming down the crazy fluctuations in hormones, helping us out of our stress response, targeting specific symptoms that might be affecting sleep, like night sweats or flushes or whatever. And then we use a separate sleep mix at bedtime to help them get a deeper, better quality sleep. And between those two, if you can nail the sleep, you can usually nail everything else because your body's getting a chance to rest and repair. So sleep mixes I find really helpful.
Yeah, and I think that's, you've hit the nail on the head there, that once we can get some sleep, everything else,
That's half the battle won.
yeah, it really is. And when you look to sort of, I know, both of us are keen on animals and stuff. You look at animals and they just sleep when they need to sleep. When they need to repair,
Yeah.
they sleep.
Yeah, and they haven't got to worry about mortgages and kids
No.
and stuff, but they have still got to worry about like staying alive and who's going to show up and give them breakfast and all the rest of it. So yeah, it's an interesting one, and I find I've always used sleep mixes because I've always had insomnia intermittently, but not last winter. The winter before, I was using like 4 or 5 times the usual amount.
Wow.
Get me out and get me off to sleep. And once you get the hormones kind of talking to each other properly again, it does make it a lot easier to sleep better.
And I guess that's key is, and for somebody watching this who maybe has thought that like HRT is the only option for them because that's what people talk about, blah blah blah. It's probably quite refreshing to think, well, that actually there are other ways that they can get their hormones under control.
Yeah, absolutely. And, herbs are what we've always used to get through menopause. Menopause is not a new invention, as I keep saying, that not every woman was dead by the time she was in her early 40s.
No.
Nuns are a prime example. There were loads of nuns because they weren't having babies every 5 minutes. Loads of nuns lived into their 70s, 80s, maybe even 90s. And a lot of the monasteries would have had herb gardens, so they would have used those. And there is, medieval text talking about using herbs to get us through menopause. So it's what we've always used, and it's still every bit as effective now as they always have been. It's just a question of picking the right herbs for the right person at the right time. It's not, it's not a random thing. You do need a bit of knowledge, and you do need a bit of background to pick the right herbs.
So yeah, so further to that, it's not like with sort of excuse me, the kind of over-the-counter supplements when people go, oh well, I'll just get some magnesium and everything will be fine. So for herbal, for anything within herbal medicine, people would need to come to a practitioner, would they?
I mean, you can go and get stuff from the shop if you want to, but some women actually do very well with that. Some women just manage to find the right remedy and it's a decent quality one and they get the results they're looking for. But I do also meet women who have spent thousands of pounds and years and years and years just trying everything and nothing's really worked. And I might give them the same herbs that they've tried in the past in their tablet form and they work. But it's not just the herbs that are doing the job. It's the interaction between me and them and the herbs.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more to it, So if someone comes to see me, they get an hour of just talking about themselves and offloading. And, we unpick what's going on behind the scenes, and then they get to understand their bodies better and appreciate their body's not actually hating them and trying to make their life a misery. That's actually trying to do something really clever. It just hasn't got the resources it needs to do that. And then we look at how we can provide those resources and use the herbs to sort of tweak and nudge and tinker in the background to get things calmed down and working normally again. So yes, there's an investment involved like there is with all of these things. But I think at this stage in life, if you can't invest in yourself, and you've probably got tons of other people depending on you to show up and do your thing every day, when can you? It's a window of opportunity to get your health right for your later life as well as to get you through menopause. And I think if you are able to make an investment, not necessarily with someone like me, but anything you need to do to take better care of yourself and get yourself through, I think that's well worth prioritizing.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes people sort of think of it only as a financial investment, if that makes sense, and think,
yeah,
oh, well, I haven't got the money to do that. But actually it can be a time investment. It can be a lowering stress investment. It can be a boundaries investment. There's so many other investments we can make into ourselves, aren't there?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's my big program is 12 weeks long, and we see each other once a week for 12 weeks, and it is full on, but it gets the results. We get an 80% improvement usually by the end of the 12 weeks. So, but you have to be up for doing it. You have to be up for coming every week and doing your bits and pieces in between. So for those ladies who are ready, willing and able to do that, that's fine. And they do get the results. But there's lots of reasons why we might be getting insomnia in menopause. So it's a question of digging down and finding out what's going on for you in particular and what we can do to address it.
Absolutely. So for the people who are watching this now and kind of want to have something that they can take away right now, there's going to be people going, yes, in the fullness of time, I'd like to sign up or whatever, but actually, what can I do today? What would be the things that you would recommend that somebody can do right now?
Definitely make sure you're eating properly. Make sure you've got a good bedtime routine, because they're not just for children. So we want to be winding down at least a couple of hours before bed, and preferably have an Epsom salts bath or foot bath as part of that routine. Also look at whether histamine might be a problem, because we're in hay fever season now. Mm-hmm. So if you suffer with hay fever, your histamine levels will be high, and that will impact your sleep. So if you want to test that, try taking antihistamine at bedtime, which is actually what the doctors are starting to do now. They're starting to prescribe antihistamines to help people sleep. And if they work, then it's likely that histamine is part of the problem. And I won't go into how to reduce histamine now because it's really complicated.
Yeah, I mean,
Not very easy to
that's
do.
a topic for another day.
Yeah, it's quite a big thing, but it is doable. On my website now, there is a free menopause toolkit course, which is 5 lessons in 5 days that talks about self-care for different symptoms, including insomnia. So feel free to go on that. It's free to download. So just go to the website and it's in Learn at Home.
Awesome.
And if you've got any questions and you're in the UK, feel free to book a free call with me and I'll be very happy to answer those.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Hannah.
No worries. All right. Thank you.